Hey guys, what's up? It's MatchPoint here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 beginner tips and tricks for Rainbow Six Siege. Now this video is going to be catered to those who are just starting out in Siege, or maybe you've already gone ahead and started, but you are getting a bit stuck, and you would like 5 tips and tricks to progress you further. Don't worry though if this video isn't for you, as I am going to be making more tips and tricks catered towards the higher skill levels in the future, so make sure you stick around for that. So if you do find this video useful, consider dropping a like on the video, and if there are any topics that you would like me to cover, or you do have a specific topic that you are struggling with, and therefore you would like me to cover it, well make sure you comment it down below so I know to do them. If you are new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoyed the video, so let's get on into it. Now the first tip that I'm going to be giving you is that a drone is your best friend when starting out. If you aren't already using your drone highly, then I would definitely recommend you to, as it provides you with lots of intel and it can guide you. Your drone is going to be an attacker's best friend, and if you are a beginner and you're not already using this drone as much as you can be, I would definitely recommend you to do this so you can get into that habit to prolong it. Now the main reason as why you need to be droning, as it can provide you with lots of intel that can help you out and get the advantage over your opponent. If you're in a situation and you don't know where to push from, or you don't know simply much intel, you can go ahead and use your drone to navigate. And there are many specific methods that you can be using for droning which will allow you to gain that upper hand. And I have covered many of these in a full guide on droning, and they are showcasing many advanced methods that you can use to help you out. There will be a card in the top right for that video if you do require the information. One of the very basic strategies that I will introduce you to is going to be droning efficiently and carefully. Now there is a very fine line when it comes to droning, as you don't want to be overdoing it and simply droning out every corner of that room. Instead you want to be doing it quickly, but at the same time making sure you cover your back. Therefore, in order to drone efficiently but carefully at the same time, I would recommend you to scan the room, simply skimming it round the corner, checking every little detail, but at the same time you don't want to be spending long there. When I refer to checking every detail, I don't mean you need to be looking in every nook and cranny, but instead you need to go ahead and make sure you're droning out the key areas in which you think a defender could be. Now we'll be moving on to the next tip that I'm going to be giving you, which is learning map knowledge. Map knowledge is absolutely crucial when you're just starting out, and it can be quite tricky to learn, which is why I'm going to be giving you all the information you need. Map knowledge does intertwine with many key aspects of Siege, one of them being droning, which we did just mention. And there are a lot of maps in Siege, and it can be quite tricky to learn every single one of them, knowing key details to it. Therefore, I'm going to equip you. This is a strategy that I have mentioned a lot, and it is so useful for you. In regards to learning the maps in Rainbow Six Siege, we have something in our brain called the working memory and the long-term memory. Now, the working memory can only store those memories for a very short time, and again it can't hold many of them. It is very limited, and after a while those memories will end up fading away, which is where this long-term memory will come in, and I'm sure you've all heard of what this means. It can hold lots of memories, and it can hold them for a very long period of time. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, how do we transfer these memories from the working memory to the long-term memory? And there are many ways you can do this. But before we do get into that, I'm just going to show you how it does relate to Siege. When we are trying to learn something or remember something, such as map knowledge, we can apply it to it, as we can then take those working memories of that map knowledge and we can transfer it to the long-term memory. Now back to what we were on about, how does it go to the long-term memory? There are many ways in which we can do this, however map knowledge isn't going to be really one of them that will apply to writing it down being one technique, due to it being, well, map knowledge is a wide subject, and therefore it is going to have many different bits of information, which is why I would recommend you to apply it to something that you already have a connection with in the long-term memory. Now to actually practice this, I would recommend you to go ahead and load up a custom game and set it to a map that you want to learn. Then start at the beginning of the entrance. And then I want you to slowly but surely walk yourself through the map. And what you need to do now is look around for those key areas such as hatches, sites where the objective may be placed, or even stairwells. And you can also do this for the different rooms, however I would recommend you to link it with something else. For example, if the stairwell is going to be yellow, try to link that and remember that, thinking, well, if it is going to be a yellow stairwell, then I can remember that it's going to be there. Without actively practicing it, you won't get the concept and you won't be able to grasp it, which is why you will need to give it a go yourself. Now the third tip that I'm going to be moving on to is going to be playing with a wide variety of operators. Now in the beginning of the game, you might not have access to a wide variety of operators, but in a very short period of time you will begin to rack up the amount of operators you have, and I wouldn't just recommend to go ahead and stick to one operator solely. While you may learn all of the ins and outs of one operator, it isn't going to benefit you as a whole. You're not going to understand all of the information about every other operator, instead you're going to be very limited. And instead, if you do spread your options out and begin to try out and learn different ones, well, it's going to help you in many different situations. For example, when you're playing against other operators, you're going to know what their ability is capable of and how you can even possibly counter it. And also, in the very beginning, it is going to be adding to that plethora of knowledge that you will gain. That's why I would recommend you to branch out your options and get started early on all of the different operators. Now, if you are thinking to yourself, well, MatchPoint, that is a lot of operators to learn, there's quite a few in the game. Well, don't worry, because I've got you covered. There are a wide variety of operators, and I've also got a wide variety of operator ultimate guides for you. I have created a playlist with all of my operator guides in, and there will be a card in the top right for that information if you do require it. Now, not all of the operators are there yet, but I am gradually adding to them and more are beginning to rack up. Therefore, if you are waiting for one operator guide to come out that you need, make sure to comment it down below and turn those notifications on so you'll be ready for when it goes live. Now the fourth tip that I'm going to be mentioning is going to be regarding learning new callouts. Now in the beginning of the game you might be overwhelmed on how many rooms there are and all of the names for the different places, hallways and whatever. Therefore I do have a very handy way of locating these callouts that you can give to your teammates. Now this isn't a necessity in the beginning, but it will help you out for sure. Therefore I am just going to run you down on the basics of it. Now a callout is a piece of information given to a teammate that can help them. A very basic use is to let them know where an operator is pushing from, an enemy. So if you do want to progress in the game from the very beginning stages, then I would recommend doing this, and there is a great trick on how you can do it. Now if you look in the bottom middle of your screen, you will actually go ahead and see a compass. Now nearby that compass is some text, and it is going to tell you the name of that room. While this may not be the exact name of the room for the call-out situation, it is going to be a very valuable piece of information that you can simply get by not having to remember much information except from looking down at it. And if you are playing with other beginners, then you can share them this video and show them this trick so they will be on board and know what you're referring to. However, if you are playing with more experienced players, then they are going to know what you're on about, as they will most likely know a few names for that room. If you would like to advance even further than that and you feel as if you're ready for it, then I have covered a full in-depth guide on communication. And there will be a card in the top right if you do require that information. Now the final beginner's tip of the video that I'm going to be moving on to is going to be practicing in T-Hunt. Now the training grounds is a great way for you to go ahead and warm up before that game. If you don't know what the training grounds is, well, it's a way you can practice your aim and your mechanical skills against 22 enemies. These are going to be AI bots and they are great for practicing your aim. I would recommend heading into the training grounds and using this feature at least once a day if you are looking to get better and improve. As a beginner, it not only helps you get used to those controls, but it also helps you to improve further, such as your mechanical skills and your game sense. In addition to this, it is a great tool for warming up as well. If you are feeling a bit cold and a bit rusty before you go ahead and play that game, then I would recommend hopping into the training grounds and getting a few sessions in. Therefore, when you actually begin playing, you're ready to go and raring to go. If you are looking for any tips on warming up your aim before a game, then I would recommend checking out my ultimate warm-up guide, and there will be a card in the top right if you do require that information. It covers everything from warming up your flicking skills and your general aim. There are many methods included in that video that I showcased if you do require it. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you did, or you found this video useful, then make sure to leave a like on the video. And if you would like to take a peek at my latest video, then I would definitely recommend it. And consider subscribing for more tips and tricks like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.